So it's 4:30, and today is a massive day. 43 miles ahead. Not going to lie, I'm struggling to get out of the bed right now. But I was hoping to get out when the sun first came up because of the distance. I just wanted to start maybe a little bit earlier, so maybe I'll get out for 5:30 and start moving. It's funny because it's the distance. It's just the distance gets in your head, you know, you sort of start thinking about, if you think too much about it. I know. What I've got to do is basically just get up and start moving and not think about it. Not think about how far it is today or how long it is or whatever. But yeah, another thing, I think accommodation is getting harder here now. I think it's busying up because we're moving into August. Lots of people on holiday. Hungary seems to have, yeah, I mean, some of the places that we're moving through are smaller. There's not so much options for places to stay, and it's getting, the prices are rising, you know, and this is my fear. When you're paying £10 a night in Serbia or whatever, in Romania for a place, you know, I can justify it, but when it's starting to get up to like £100+ a night for pretty, not very special places, you know, this is where the tent, or this is where the bivvying needs to come out. So I've got some long days, and I think I've got some, let's just say, less comfortable nights coming up, and I think that's probably gotten in my head a bit. But anyway, the only solution to this is to suit up. Basically, you've got to get your kit on. This is no different than every other run. When you're at home, you're thinking, oh, do I want to go? This is just how I feel right now. Get your kit on, start moving, and then it'll all be all right. That's what I've got to do. Anyway, better get on with it. Day 37, 43 miles. Coming up, Baja to a place called Harta. Looking at the route, it looks like it's going to be, I think, probably lots of dike roads again. First 22 miles, there's no water. So I'm going to try and hydrate well before I go, and maybe fill up my spare soft flask as well. So I've got about 2.5 litres, then that'll give me 2 litres. I then just have to take it easy and hope it stays cool. Let's go do it. So I'm out moving, doing my usual kind of 1 mile or first mile walkie, warm up the old legs, get a sense of what's going on. And I've been treated to a lovely little stretch alongside a little canal here. Harta is actually an absolutely cracking little town. There's little beaches and pontoons and outdoor showers and all sorts here. Yeah, I wish I had more time actually. It's really, really lovely. Lots of cool, quirky things like this behind me, like a little Zeppelin that's been turned into some kind of sports centre. And yeah, it was good at the beer and barbecue festival yesterday. Would have happily stayed there and listened to more music and had a few more beers, but had to get home. And yeah, a couple of things for today. 43 miles, but I know for my own sanity, I've got to get my head out of the numbers today and just try and drop into the movement and not be thinking about it too much about the distance. Although I do have one target in my head, and that's basically, I have this thing where you get the numbers into some, what I call kind of more familiar territory. So, you know, when you get below 20 miles to go, you know where you're at, or even a marathon to go, then you know, it's something that's a little bit more mentally, I know what I've got to do, but everything feels a bit big when it's kind of 40, but you just got to try and forget about that and crack on. So I mean, I'm hoping if I get paths like this or dike roads or whatever along the way, it's going to be a happy thing. I have a feeling that I will have some roads to run as well, and yeah, 20 miles without water, and then after that, the second sort of half of it, there's more villages and stuff, so that will hopefully give me a bit more kind of a cadence to chunk up the run. But yeah, I mean, as ever, things feel better when you're moving, so that's what I'm going to keep doing. Dedicate each of these runs to somebody who's helped me along the way, who's played a really important role in me getting to this point, whether that's in regular life or in running or people that I've met along the way. Today's run is dedicated to my friend Bex, who I first met, I think, at a colour run. It's like a 5k run where you run through paint, and since then we've ended up on some of the most incredible journeys together. We did the Marathon des Sables together as tent mates. We then ran the Thames Sea to Source, 190 miles in 3 days. It was a beast of a run and such a tough one. I've done countless other runs with Bex. The Lavaredo, we partnered up twice. No, we partnered up once, sorry, I went once. Bex went the second time and finished it. And basically Bex is just my hero in terms of running. She's the coolest, calmest, most enduring runner, one of them I've ever met. She just seems to have this exterior of absolute calm. Nothing really phases her, at least that's the way it seems on the exterior. She rolls with the punches like nobody I've ever really met, and she's been a massive inspiration to me. And I think the reason I've picked her today is because I'm going to need some of that, and I've tried to learn from Bex. You know, we spent hours, you know, Lavaredo, maybe, you know, 24 hours walking and running together on the Thames. It was 3 days, and I've watched her operate, and she's just a fantastic person and somebody that I admire and respect so much. And if I can summon up a little bit of Bex's spirit today out here, everything will be all right. So Bex, thanks for coming on so many great adventures with me. I wish you could have been here to do some of this. It would have been fantastic to have you along. But I realise that, things are different and difficult in many ways for both of us to get together and do the running that we used to do. There will be chances again, I promise you. We will do something together again. And just keep on being Bex. One of my sayings that I have in my head is basically be more Bex. And if you can be more Bex, you're on to a winner. So this is for you, Bex. So what to say about today's run? Well, as I mentioned this morning, this one was quite I was fearful of just a big distance again. Like I've done a couple of those earlier on in the run, in this whole kind of Danube run, but I don't know, for some reason that 43 miler, it sort of loomed large actually. Not surprisingly, on 35 marathon legs, another 43. Just wasn't sure how I was going to cope. So I basically had to I knew today in order to be successful, I had to have momentum. And I've been talking about momentum a lot in these kind of videos, but what I mean by that is basically I got my head down. I told myself I had one aim today, which is to have controlled, relentless forward motion. So just running on feel again, but just moving forward with purpose the whole time. And, no dithering, no messing around, not too much stopping to take photos. There wasn't too much kind of time for stopping and chatting today. I only had one stop at a shop, which was for about 5 minutes. So there was, none of that. I didn't let myself kind of get distracted or sidetracked or, and I guess, one of the benefits to where I was running, the majority of this whole run was on the dike roads again in Hungary, which are, they're beautiful to run. It's basically kind of mainly kind of isolation, and it was flat. There's no navigation, there's no shops, so there is no distractions. I just got my head down and I just found a pace and I stuck to it. And, the aim was to try and I ate that first 20 miles with, like a really, really, really focused intent. And I knew I had to get those numbers into the more familiar territory. Even, getting to a marathon left was more familiar territory, but getting it down into kind of the teens was another kind of target of mine. And I knew that once I'd got them into the teens, if I'd moved well that, in the morning, and I'd done it kind of in 4 or 5 hours, that the rest of it pretty much would take care of itself. Because it could just feel like a long way when you've done 13 miles, you're still like, oh, I've still got 33 to go. And that's what I achieved. I managed to go out and kind of execute that plan, and it worked really well. The body gave me what I needed. I had some brilliant help. A friend of mine, Damien, had made me 2 playlists. He DJ'd 2 playlists, 2 sets, and I haven't played them yet. And I said to him last night, tomorrow I've got a very, very big day ahead of me. It's going to be a tough one, and I'm going to put on the first of the playlists for that. And I don't quite know how he managed it, but the music that he put on matched where I was running, the scenery, the feeling, absolutely bang on. It got me a little bit emotional, even when the kind of first track came on, because it did exactly what I needed it to do. It just took me on a little bit of a journey away from the run, although it was, because the music was right, I was able to key into the scenery as well, and it just matched what was happening out and around me. And it was absolutely magic. And I think it was like an hour and a half. And that took out a big chunk. That's like an hour and a half was probably, I think I'd done maybe 12, 13, 14 miles in that time or something. But no, maybe not that much, maybe like 10, 11 or something. But it took out a big chunk of that middle section of the run. And so thanks for that, Damien. That really helped. I've got another second playlist that second mix that I'm going to put on tomorrow, because I've got a big 33 miler tomorrow. The other aim really was to come out of it intact. It's no good going smashing out 45 miles and being ruined. And I think I've achieved that. The legs are obviously tired. There are bits that are a bit tender and sore. Calves have gone like bricks. But, no more really than necessarily than on some other days. So that, I think, has been successful as well. My main problem coming back here is I'm now heading through kind of countryside in Hungary, and I've arrived in a town or a village called Harta, which on a Sunday, everything's closed. There's no shops. So I've managed to go and have a pizza and some food and get a little bit of water, but I haven't really got anything for breakfast. So tomorrow, I don't know how I'm going to solve that. I'm going to have to try and maybe run back into town before I head out. But if I leave at 6, nothing's open then. So I don't really know what I'm going to do. I may have to, but I've got kind of running fuel. I've got my precision fuel and hydration cubes and bits and pieces, even though I'm running low on those. So I might have to just get some of those in and use those for the first bit of the morning, and then basically the first opportunity I'd get, go to a bakery or something. But yeah, I mean, I this was a big moment, I think, in the whole run. I don't think there's going to be a run that's going to be longer than this now with what's left. There's another 40 miler. There's a few other kind of days that stack together into quite big mileage, but this one I think is going to be the longest effort that I'm going to have to do. And provided I can get out and get these other two done, so I've got a 33 and a 36 in the next 2 days, then I'm going to have gotten over quite a big lump in this. I'll also then be north of Budapest by the time those are finished. No, I won't. Sorry, I'll be in Budapest. So I'll be, I'll crest that lump in Budapest. that's a saying. And then I've got a day, and then I see Adam, my friend Adam's coming out, and he's going to run with me for 4 days. So we start to then roll into a series of people running with me and things to look forward to. And positive, these are all sort of positives. So, today, I think it was one of those days where I told myself from the very start to believe it. I had to sort of basically just go, this is yours, mate. This is going to be yours. Go and get it. And not a moment of weakness, I didn't flinch. Once I was out that door and I was moving, it was just one thing on my mind. And that was just getting my head down and getting it done. And thankfully that worked out well. So now I basically just need to rest up and recover. There's not much food in this particular location where I'm staying, so breakfast is going to be interesting tomorrow. As in, I don't have any. I'm going to have to work out how to do that. But 33 miles tomorrow. I'm going to have to take that one nice and steady. But we are closing in on Budapest, and that's another major milestone. So anyway, I better go and get some sleep so that I can actually run in the morning. I'm falling asleep right here doing this now. So we go again tomorrow.